What's up, everybody? Hey, it's Sean. How are you? Welcome. I am going to hopefully bring on my amazing guest, Tiffany. Let me see where she is. Where is she? Da da. Tiffany. And Tiffany, if she comes in, where's the magic? Bring the magic. Says adding. Yes!
Woo!
How cool was that, man?
I love when technology works.
It didn't even take that long.
Right?
So we're just grateful that it worked.
Yay!
And it worked right away.
Awesome.
Man, I'm kind of far away from my deal here, so I can't really I don't have my right glasses on, Tiff. I'm not going to lie to you, but I see Cindy. What's up, Cindy? Thank you for joining us. You guys, I'm so pumped right now, Tiffany, okay, we've been trying to do this for like weeks.
We really have.
I'll just blame you, but really it's my
You're a busy man. You're in high demand. What to do?
I'll take responsibility. Well, you're a busy girl.
There we go.
That's if you guys ever see me do all this weird stuff, it's because my phone keeps shaking. And I keep trying to turn it off. I wonder if I turned it off now. I better not do that. If I turned off my ringer, oh well. Okay. Alicia Lindsay, what's happening? Chat, what up?
What up?
Leader of the Army. Okay, Tiffany. Man, how cool is this that we get to do this? You've been to our beach cottage. You've hung out here. What was that, like last summer?
Yes, it was July, 4th of July last summer. Can you believe that? I know.
That's right.
I know.
Right? How cool is that to have the fireworks like right in front of our window off the pier? So amazing. Yeah. We're super excited. You're going to have to come back.
I think I need to do an alumni trip and
alumni tradition. Yeah. Yeah, plus I'm kind of hurting. You always get me right.
Yeah.
You guys, I'm super excited to introduce you to Tiffany Tanner. She's so amazing. I love Tiffany. Tylene loves Tiffany. We've known you for many, many years. And when we were back in Arizona, Tiffany, you had a facility there. You had an actual brick and mortar location. Right?
Yes.
We could come see you there, and you could make me walk better and stand better and do all kinds of things better. And if I was ever hurting, I went to Tiffany, and she just would always teach me so many amazing things. And we're blessed and grateful that we got to meet people like Tiffany all over the world and all over the country, and just helping us learn about different perspectives, unique ways of I don't know, addressing anything, mind, body, spirit, soul, that I think so many of us grow up the wrong way sometimes because we don't know what we don't know. And we get these blinders on and we think this is the way you're supposed to do something, or this is how the body works, or this is this, or this is that. I mean, same thing happened with me with food, when I met Tylene and plant medicine and plant enzymes. And so, Tiffany, thanks, man, so much. Thanks for doing this. And people, you guys, you're going to love Tiffany. And if you're not friends with Tiffany,
absolutely.
So, Tiffany, you just know too many things. And so it's kind of hard I'm just so excited.
I'm excited too.
To try to narrow this down. But, I mean, you had this Pilates facility studio, amongst other things that you were doing when we would first start working together, and you would just, man, every time I had my body jacked up, you'd help me, and you were teaching me how to be preventative. You were teaching me things I'd never learned before, but you do so much more than that. I mean, I think on this little flyer we have, it talks about posture, right? Fascia, a little bit Tantra.
Yeah.
I mean, you got it all going on.
Yeah.
So first of all, tell everyone just a little bit about you and where you've been traveling and what you've been doing, and maybe just share your journey, man, because I think it's so cool when we get to understand and relate to people and get to know them a little bit from their experience, right? Because it's all about life experiences. Yeah. But what do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's quite a journey, so I don't want to bore everybody. I'll try to give you the condensed version of it all. But yeah, I mean, my journey, I guess, started with Pilates, sort of like the traditional Pilates that we know today. But there's a more kind of ancient classical version of Pilates that I became privy to. But first I had to teach like modern day Pilates and realize that, it was kind of, I felt like I was hurting people. Like I felt like there was something missing, that it wasn't intelligent movement like we had been trained. And so I went on this quest to really learn and understand the body in so many different facets and layers. So I kind of did my own university degree, so to speak. And what I do now is kind of it's like a blend of many different modalities that I've learned and trained from. And I guess the best way to describe it, I use the Pilates equipment. Sometimes I don't have to, but it's kind of like structural re-education. It's structural release and and integration. It's kind of similar to physical therapy in that it's very therapeutic in nature, but it's addressing the whole body. So, I really touch on things like posture. I touch on things like gait or walking pattern. I touch on things such as diet and inflammation and all of these different facets that basically make up our health, right? Because health isn't one thing. It's not just diet. It's not just exercise. It's not just, health is a multifaceted dimension. And we really, in order for us to be whole body and holistic and whole health, we really need to look at all these different facets.
No, I mean, there's so much, man. There's
so much.
I mean, let me just comment on something you said. So you were talking about like gait, like when you said your gait, you guys, that's like how you're walking, right? I mean, your gait and how you're striding, where your feet are facing, correct? Your hips, the whole gait.
Yeah.
And so as you said your gait, like instantly I'm like, okay, my right foot turned out.
See?
If you were here,
I would.
That gait. In fact, Tiffany, I was just helping a friend of mine the other day, and I was helping him with his gait. And it's because, these things I've learned over the years from people like yourself. But let's talk posture for a second.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's talk posture. So like right now, I think so many of us, everywhere we go, what do? We see people doing what?
Yes, for sure. Staring at screens.
They're not, whole nother conversation. They're not present.
Totally.
They're certainly not present what they're doing. Everyone's on their freaking phone. It's kind of disgusting. I'm really getting disgusted from this. I go to the beach. Beach is out my window. Ty and I walk the beach, every day. We walk the beach. And here's everyone.
Yeah.
What are you looking at? Like, what are you freaking looking at 24/7? Do that when you're not in freaking nature, when you're not present with all your friends, collaborating, enjoying each other's company, and having community, breaking bread together, whatever it is. And people are just stuck on their freaking device. So that's a whole nother discussion. But with that, I have to wear glasses now. I've got perfect vision. I'm blaming my freaking device. My dad passed at like 83, 84. He never wore glasses, man. But he wasn't staring at a device all the time either. But this hunching, we hunch. And, we watch people hunch. And sometimes I feel weird because Ty and I, we kind of help each other. John, put yourself
sit up. Yeah.
Right, head up. And I'm like, man, I feel like I'm going to be a buff guy and stick my chest out or something. But talk just about posture, Tiffany. How relevant and how important is that to everyone?
It's, it's something we kind of think of posture or sitting right as like, way back when our mom and our grandma was like, sit upright, chest out, butt out kind of a thing. But posture they're finding is, there's so many quotes I can say, but like sitting is the new smoking, they're calling it. Sitting is the new smoking. It's that detrimental for the health. And we tend to just kind of bypass it as something sort of futile and frivolous and unimportant to the rest of our health. And there are actually studies upon studies, which I'll share in Chicago, studies upon studies that are saying that sitting, and especially your posture within sitting, are causing a chain reaction of health issues. So sitting isn't just about, whether your spine is straight, and that's a big portion of it. But if you have bad posture, it doesn't just affect your spine or your muscles. They're finding that it actually can affect your heart rate. It can affect your digestion process. It can affect your vision. It can affect your hearing. It can affect your sleep. It can affect your nervous system. And the list goes on. So yeah,
Wow.
it's
That's
it's
big.
big.
That's
Yeah.
huge. So years ago when we had a big office and building and all that stuff, everyone kind of laughed at me because I didn't have a chair. I just had a stand-up desk. And right now, I'm standing up. I'm doing a Facebook Live, standing up. I have a tripod, right? But I'm standing up because we had some meetings and training. We were helping a bunch of people today and teaching, and super amazing day. We had like 10, 12 people here in the cottage, and we're just teaching plant medicine and creating abundance and all these cool things. And I'm like, man, everyone was sitting. I'm like, I had to stand. I just think I don't know. It's like I know better, maybe innately. I don't know. Because I find myself doing what everyone else is doing, and I'm watching people's bodies and their movements and their this, and it's just hard.
Yeah.
It's just, I think the world we live in today, we need to be reminded of these things. But I never, like you just taught me that right now, I never would have thought that posture would affect all those things you were listing, and I know you could keep going on more. But I mean, that's crazy to me, and we don't. That's such a little thing, Tiffany, that we can change and prevent, to help the body kind of go back and fix itself. Right, certain things, and certainly to prevent, because Ty and I were always teaching, how do we prevent this? How do we prevent that? And I'm curious, just people watching, you guys think you have good posture?
Yes.
Most of the time?
That is a good question.
Bad or poor? Like, I would like to see what people think about their posture, because, man, if we're like this on our phone, that has to, our shoulders roll forward. Right?
Yeah.
What were you teaching me, Tiffany? Like, imagine, was it like a string or something?
Yeah, it's a nice cue, because I feel like when you say sit straight, people immediately go into very tense like military posture, right? So you tell someone to sit. So if they're used to kind of sitting like this, and you say sit straight, they immediately go like this, and now they're squeezing their shoulder blades together, and they're creating tension in their spine. And this is no more natural than this is. So I want to find like a very natural, or a natural neutral, so to speak, because ideally when we're sitting and standing, it should feel like we're floating. Like all of our intrinsic muscles are on board. Yeah, and it's like very floating. It's it's easy. I don't have to work hard to be here. And so that's where that someone's pulling, like got this little string attached to your crown of your head, and it kind of just makes people do this like very subtle like internal lengthening, I like to call it, versus versus like this military.
No, yeah, totally. Because I think that's the natural. Certainly mine was a natural reaction. Sit up straight. And then everything tenses up.
And
it's not about
I have a picture here, because I know you say people kind of hunched over, but what I don't, which is definitely true, but what I don't think people realize is what happens to the neck. It's this like head shearing forward posture. So take a look at that.
Oh yeah, it looks familiar.
Right. So this photo, the I guess I call it the quote on this is major spinal damage at 0 miles per hour.
Got it.
Right? It's almost as traumatic as like a major car accident. This chronic, sitting like this chronically. And in this photo, you can really see how these internal processes, not just our structural, our neck and our muscles and stuff, can be affected, but how our organs are now affected. Take a look at like what's going on with the lungs and the diaphragm, right, which are located in this rib cage, completely compressed. The intestines are completely squished. We've got this head shearing forward, which is going to obviously really affect the nerves and the discs within the spine, which can create a whole like neurological dysfunction and process. So I love this photo because it's so impactful, and people who think they have good posture, 99% of the time are sitting like this, and we just don't know it.
Yeah, I mean, it just keeps, I totally get that. I mean, that hurt my neck.
Totally, I feel the same.
Yeah, that doesn't right. Yeah, I know. I'm sure I'm guilty of that. And so Ty and I do, like I mentioned earlier, we like to remind each other, and we give each other a little bit of poo here and there, a lot of poo here and there, because we're constantly trying. We love each other, and we're trying to encourage each other and hold each other accountable in certain areas and just lift each other up in so many different ways. And so they're friendly little reminders. You know, it's not, we're not cracking down on each other.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
say, baby, you might want to sit up better, or you might,
Yeah.
you know, and she,
yeah.
you know, of course, she does that to me for everything I'm going to
Yeah.
eat and put in my mouth, but that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
But all these, we have to kind of see ourselves. We have to get out of our own way to see really the truth.
Yeah.
Right? And it's not like, man, if we could all, I always try to tell people, if you could watch yourself on a movie screen or on your big screen, what would you see? It's so much easier for everyone else to see us, and it's so much more difficult for us to see the truth on all kinds of things in life. But that's a really good visual. That picture is fantastic. And should we talk just for a second about the gate that we talked about earlier?
Yeah.
Or not?
Yeah. Well, you know, gait, it's funny because people are like, you're going to teach me how to walk. Like, I thought I did that when I was a year and a half or 2 years old. But surprisingly, over time, because of our lifestyle, because of our exercise choices, because of perhaps injuries, perhaps scar tissue, or because we sit all day for a living, or whatever it is within our lifestyle, perhaps we're an athlete, all of these things sort of contribute to our structural status, so to speak, like our current structural status. And depending on where we're at and what has happened in our life, it can cause us to come up with compensatory patterns or compensations within our movement patterns. So something as simple as walking, right? There should be a rhythm. Like the body should move in this beautiful spiral, in this perfect spiral, in this rhythm where both sides are working like in synchronicity, and it should be propelling us forward. But because of all the things that I've mentioned, we don't tend to walk like that anymore. It's a very interesting version of walking. Like we still somehow get forward, but it's very inefficient. It contributes to these compensations, these compensatory patterns. It can eventually lead to pain and restrictions and loss of motion. The range of motion is reduced, and a number of other things too.
So what would be like a quick little takeaway for people to be reminding themselves, how do I walk?
Yeah.
How am I supposed to walk? Like,
I mean, I would say, right? It's hard to say, you know, like get your hips this way. But one of the first things I always tell people is just check out your feet position, because most people walk like a duck, right? And so just by doing that, we already lose a main support bridge, which is our arch of our foot. Because when our feet are turned out, the arch collapses, we lose that arch, and that arch is fundamental to everything above the chain. Think of like the feet as your foundation. So as soon as we alter the feet, then everything above the chain is going to be altered as well. So one simple thing is just to get those feet, like just be more aware of parallel position and finding that.
That's a simple thing. That's a simple thing to look at and remind and refresh ourselves as we're doing that. Very cool. All right, so okay, let's talk a little bit about fascia. Is that cool? You get that? I think most people don't know what fascia is.
Yes.
I don't, right? If we're just honest, let's just be transparent. So talk about fascia. What is it, and how does it come into play with everything?
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I mean, the reason we don't know about fascia is because it's been deleted from the anatomy books and from our medical community, pretty much. This is why, which is crazy because it is fundamental. They're actually finding that fascia is more fundamental than, say, the muscles, because the fascia is connective tissue, meaning it encases every nerve, every muscle, every bone, every organ, every cell within our body. One way to kind of look at the fascia, you know, like when you have a piece of chicken, for example, I'm sorry if we're supposed to be vegetarian or vegan, but for
everything.
For the purpose, okay, for the purpose, we're flexitarians. For the purpose of flexitarian.
Wait, hold on, say that again.
Flexitarians, yeah.
You said that last summer, man. I was like, yeah, into that.
Isn't that beautiful? Then we don't have to we don't have to categorize ourselves. So we're flexitarian in this example here. But if you look at a piece of chicken and you look at like what's called like the silver skin, or like the, you know, like the little gooey white thing that's over the breast of the chicken and the other parts of the chicken, that's fascia. So that's fascia. So, or I like to say it's like the pantyhose over the muscles and the bone, you know, so it's kind of this like thin sheath of connective tissue, and it connects everything to everything. And it's for this reason that, for example, if someone has chronic migraines, why I could start with someone's foot, releasing someone's foot and relieve their migraine.
Got it.
Because everything is connected to everything. So the foot fascia is connected to the head fascia, and I have had an opportunity to relieve someone's migraine by having them work on their foot, because everything is connected to everything. So it goes back to that, you know, that song. What is it? The foot bones connected to the ankle bone. Ankle bones connected to the knee bone. Yeah. So
exactly, man. Exactly. Okay, I'm just curious for those who are watching. Are you familiar, or prior to this conversation, did you know about fascia, or did you understand even what it was and how it works? I'm just curious. I always like who knows what out there, because that just is so huge, yet it's not talked about because it was not taught.
I know, it's crazy, right?
Right. So fascia, who can anyone watching let me know you did know and understand fascia, or you didn't? Yeah. Because I'm just curious, and I'm so far away from my phone, you guys. I can't see
comments
are coming in. What's happening? Yeah. But I am curious, and I would like to maybe go back later even and look in the feed if people will answer this, if you're familiar with fascia and how it works. And Tiffany, I got a little confession for you.
Yes, please.
So I got a little confession. You said something about pantyhose. I'm not gonna get weird. Don't worry. But in high school, this is like back in the day, man. Back in the day, and I'm gonna be 55 in a couple weeks, man. So look out. So I'm aging myself, but way back, there was a quarterback, Joe Namath, back in the NFL, right? Broadway Joe, popular guy. And I learned from him, he was like doing pantyhose commercials. So in high school, I used to cramp up like my hamstrings and stuff. I would wear pantyhose because back then we didn't have tights.
Yeah, right.
So I'd been sporting my pantyhose in these, I had 5 older sisters. They weren't too hard to come across.
Hey now.
But I would wear those under my football gear because I didn't want to get, you know what I mean? I didn't want to pull muscles. It was awesome. But that is a really good way. Say that again so everyone can, if they didn't hear you, how you described kind of the pantyhose. Say that again. How you
so like the fascia, because it's kind of hard because we don't see it in anatomy books, and it's not part of our medical training, and you know, we're not taught about it. It's completely erased from like the medical community. It's wild to me because it plays such a crucial role in so many levels. But nonetheless, I like to explain it like the pantyhose over the muscles. It like encases the muscles, it encases the bones, it encases the viscera, the organs, it encases like every single cell of our body. And it's kind of like this, you know, this like web or this matrix of connective tissue.
Yeah. So, well, let me ask you a question. I'm going to pull this. I've got this over here. I have my foam roller.
Yes.
Right? And this is softer than what you beat me up with, which was the fascia blaster, whatever it was.
Yes,
those are amazing.
I'm a big fan.
But do things like foam rolling and you know what I mean? Is that something that you talk about or you recommend to people, or fascia blasters? Are those types of things help people in your opinion?
They do, but they're a part of like, you know, it's not just one answer. Like for example, foam rolling, which is the same thing for the fascia blaster. If our fascia is getting bunched or distorted for some reason or another, if we don't eliminate those reasons, those causes, then we can fascia blast and roll until we're blue in the face, right? But if we don't fix what's fundamentally wrong and what's causing the fascia to twist and distort, then we're just gonna be rolling every single day for the rest of our life, right? And it will keep us maintained, but it's never gonna take us to that next level. So yeah,
Got it.
so two biggest things, well, I'll say three. It's so hard to choose, but three of the biggest
Yes.
things that can distort our fascia are sitting, long duration sitting, chronic sitting, fitness choices, so how we exercise, what we choose to do when we exercise and work out, and diet.
Got it. Man, you just have so much. I mean, you've been traveling all over, Tiffany, and you know, Ty and I, we get to work with a lot of athletes, professional athletes, collegiate athletes, blah blah blah, all that stuff, and we teach what we teach, and you know, you bring another perspective on things, and you've taught us things, and we all get together and teach each other, and you've been traveling different countries and working with different gurus, and so we're talking posture, we're talking fascia, and fascia is critical, man. Especially when it comes to, I'm not, you know, for all of us, but certainly for athletes.
Yes.
I'm going to shift gears just for a minute. So just the word Tantra, you know how to say it. It has so many different, I don't know, opinions or perspectives or understandings or misunderstandings. You're coming to Chicago with us, and man, you have so many cool things. You're going to be doing a little bit. Tell us a little bit. Some of the things we're going to do there. You're going to do some Tantric Yoga.
Yes.
Right? Meditate. Share a little bit, tease a little bit about what you're going to be doing in Chicago.
Yeah. So Tantra is, we have to understand, I know it's got a lot of misunderstandings and like misconceptions as to what exactly Tantra is. Again, not to our fault, because unfortunately, Tantra is presented as sex, right? Many of the workshops that you see, many of the course offerings, many of the books, many of the things you might see online, they all reference to Tantra as being like sex, sacred sexuality, crazy, kinky sex, a way to spice up your sex life. Like Tantra is always somehow connected to sex and sexuality, which is not entirely a mistake. It's just that Tantra is this pie, you know, like when we think of the medical system, right? If we said that the medical system was reduced to just pulling teeth, right? It would be a huge disservice to the whole medical system, right? Considering, well, it's the same with Tantra. Tantra is this giant pie, and there's many slices within this pie that make up Tantra. Sexuality is one of the slices, but it's like 10%. It's like the 10% slice. And then within that Tantra spectrum is also a version of yoga. It's called Tantra Yoga. There is meditation. There is Tantra of relationships. There is Tantra Massage. There is all of these different components, yantras and mantras and all of these colors, vibrations, sounds that make up Tantra. And in its essence, it's basically a spiritual path to take you towards evolution. So like the evolution of your soul. We're talking about something spirit, right? Something deeper, a bit more esoteric. Okay. So that's Tantra in like a nutshell in 3.5 seconds. So, but in Chicago, I will be introducing Tantra Yoga, which is a really rare classical form of yoga that is actually not focused on the physical body like it is in modern times, like in many of the modern studios that you see out there, right? We're focusing on stretching, sweating, you know, maybe a way to tone the body. Yoga's, I mean, it's beautiful. It can bring a lot of, like modern yoga can bring a lot of beautiful things to people, but it's not the classical traditional yoga. So we need to understand that there's definitely a difference. And my hope is to teach like a little mini teaser of Tantra Yoga, so you can definitely see the difference. So you can unequivocally tell modern yoga from like classical ancient yoga and the differences. But essentially, Tantra Yoga is a yoga of the mind. It's a yoga of energy. So it's basically teaching you how to become aware of subtle energies that exist inside of you and aware of subtle energies that exist outside of you, and to give you an interface to interact between you and universal energies.
Right on.
Yeah.
Man, I'm pumped, man. I'm thrilled that you're coming to Chicago. You guys, we've got our Healthy Lifestyle Retreat in Chicago, June 1st.
Yes.
And that's all day, June 1st in Schaumburg, Illinois at the Hyatt. This will sell out. There's still some tickets available at escalateyourlife.com. Make sure you get registered for that. People are flying in from all over the U.S. and, of course, Canada and some other countries as well. But we're going to have some time together on Sunday with Tiffany as well, because we're doing a Sunday fun day for anyone who wants to hang out afterwards. And we're going to do some of these activities and things together too, which is super cool. But,
Yeah.
Maybe Tylene or someone can post in there the URL so people can get there. And Tiffany, there's some amazing people coming. We just landed. Woo, this is a big one. We just scored a really cool lady from the Chicago area. Huge online following. She's going to be teaching face yoga.
Ooh, I've heard of this. Yes, yeah.
And she is a skincare expert. And this lady looks amazing. She is sought after by so many like yourself. We're grateful for you. We're grateful for her. You know, she's got like over 700,000 people in her YouTube following her. And they're just coming, man. You guys, this is going to be so cool. You know about Dr. Tim in Arizona. He's amazing. He's so powerful. And Doc Newsom from Truth About Cancer. And Dr. Coop's going to be there, functional medicine, right up your alley, right? And John Kennedy, super cool. We're gonna do some brain activities there, man. He teaches like the military and professional athletes and decision making, like all these things that your brain starts going differently, faster, firing faster, organizing, sorting, just so cool. You know, man, there's so many people. I just want to say, you guys, you got to be there. We've got Brittany coming in from Canada, talking about all kinds of cool stuff, including your relationship with food. Tiffany, I don't know if you know, but the innovator, the creator of the plant medicine, specifically for us right now, CBD extraction, he never comes out in public. We've convinced him this will probably be, he may not ever do this again. He's coming to Chicago, man. So all you guys who know what we're doing with this whole flower fluid CBD, the man, Mr. Wonderful, he'll be
Mr.
there.
Wonderful.
Mr. Wonderful. He's a nice Mr. Wonderful. He's not like that mean Sharky guy. But he's super cool, man. He's going to be there. Lisa's coming in from Michigan talking about all kinds of things to be prepared in crisis situations, things like to be organized, to make sure you have a plan of emotionally, right, physically, relationships, job, financial, all these things. She's into everything that, I mean, we all know about this whole mind, body, spirit thing. And anyway, there's just so many, I'm leaving people out, but there's amazing people coming in that were super duper excited and grateful that everyone's decided to help. You guys, it's for you, it's for everyone. Invite your friends. Obviously, we lose money on these things. This isn't about money, and we're not paying people like Tiffany to come give. They're coming to give of their time and their knowledge, and they want to share and give to the human race, and that's what this is all about. We're starting to pick up, I think, a little bit of audio feedback. I don't know what it is, but I don't want to keep it too long. You guys, escalateyourlife.com is going to be amazing. Do that. Get there. It'll sell out. The one we did in January in Arizona sold out, and that was like 250 seats. That sold out. This one, probably about the same, a couple hundred. I don't even know the exact number. Get there, because you are going to love it, and you're going to walk away so excited of all this new knowledge and all these different areas from all these experts, health practitioners, doctors, whatever. It's just a lot of really, really powerful, unique people that are well sought after. I mean, you guys, Tiffany, people will pay her a lot of money to get this kind of time with her. And Tiffany, you're an amazing woman. And again, thank you so much. Just want to thank you, Tylene, and I really want to thank you for being a part of what we're going to do. And you're going to help so many people. And there's so many people in pain, Tiffany, as you know, and people with back issues and people with injuries and posture and fascia. These things come in. And we had a good friend of ours, as you know, you couldn't be there. He has another thing going on. And we had him come in last minute and teach fascia, Canadian gentleman, and people with nuts. I cannot wait for you to teach that. I cannot wait for you to clarify and do some of this Tantra Yoga and things. You guys are going to be amazing. David's coming in. He's our music
Yay.
guy. He's going to come and stop in on his way back to Quebec before he records his album. We're grateful for that. So again, thank you for tonight, Tiffany. Whatever we can do to help you in any way, you know, we're there to give to you. And I got to get you back out here to the cottage because, like, my body needs some fixing and
I can
correcting
see
and
it's calling me.
It's calling you to get out of here. Have a great night, you guys. Thank you for tuning in, everyone. And Tiffany, you're amazing.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Yes. So All right.
We love everyone. Peace out.
Peace out. Good night.